Think about the difference between getting up, not meditating, not coming into alignment, not doing positive aspects, and not establishing yourself in your grid. So imagine not doing any of that. You just sort of blunder into your day. So the first thing that happens is you observe something that you really would rather not have observed. So now you're off on the wrong foot already. You're having a reaction to what's going on. And now that reaction is just happening back and forth, back and forth. And you're telling yourself, I'm not a good parent. I should be doing something different. I don't want it to be like that. You're using words to try to turn it around. It's not turning it around. It's just practicing that grid more. It's just making them feel more defensive. It's just perpetuating the very thing that you don't want. And then a wonderful thing happens. The end of the day comes and you get to go to bed. So now you go to bed, and as you lie there in your bed, do your best to appreciate the comfort of your bed. Go as general as you can. Think about the things that feel the least contentious to you and go to sleep. And when you awaken in the morning, spend some time, find the time, really. Set your alarm 15 minutes early if it requires that. But lie there with the determination that before you go out into your physical world, that you're going to establish your grid with your non-physical world. Because what will happen then is your grid will begin filling in with things that match that. Your grid will fill in with cooperative children. Your grid will fill in with cooperative traffic. Your grid will fill in with your best ideas. Your grid will fill in with you being tuned in, tapped in, turned on. Your grid will fill in with you anticipating things before they happen. Your grid will fill in with you being so energetic, meaning so on top of whatever's going on, so aware of the energy that you can say the right thing before it gets off on the wrong footing. You see what we're getting at? The cooperative components of this universe are enormous. We cannot even begin to describe the leverage of alignment. And we can't think of any subject that if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would want to apply it to more deliberately than the subject of parenting, because you don't care about anything, as we talked about before, as much as you care about that. Apply this conversation to everything, to your employee relationship, to your relationship with people in your neighborhood. Relationships, it's such an interesting thing. Most people do not tend to the only relationship that sets them in their power. Instead, they knee-jerk response to relationships all around them. And then from outside the vortex and from outside their power, try to figure out how to gain the most leverage. Once you begin demonstrating your stable alignment with source energy, your steady knowledge of the value of that which you are, your steady attention to your own well-being, once you thought by thought and experience by experience reach for the best feeling thought that you can find, and then stay focused there until the grid fills in and you feel your power coming specifically to this moment. Are you getting the sense of this? Are you getting the sense of how life causes you to identify things you want, but you're not in alignment with them, but the source within you is? And the source within you is continuing to flow in the direction of what you're wanting. And the more you generally are finding alignment with well-being by looking for reasons to feel good, that your grid begins to fill in more and more with who you really are, until in any moment in time, the fullness of who you are can be present and focused and having the conversation or the acknowledgement. That's what you all came to be. Not one of you said, I'll go forth and deprive myself of most of me, and I'll just bang it around, and then when I die, you can let me know how well or not well I did. There's nothing like that going on. You have come as creators, and this is the creative leading edge. You're not dead or alive. You're alive. You're always alive. It's just a matter of focused consciousness. Esther was watching on the airplane the other day a documentary. It was really a beautiful documentary about the founder of Apple's. And as she was watching it, she could feel him all over her. She could feel his enthusiasm for the documentary. She could feel the parts that were on and the parts that were off. She could feel his enthusiasm for all of the things that he set into motion. She could feel that he is more alive today than he's ever been. He's free of resistance and infinitely interested in everything that's going on. People are wondering, well, will technology go on like it will? Well, if there are anyone tuned into it. So Esther wrote a whole list of questions. She thought of all of these things that she wants to know about him. And he answered every single one of those questions. In other words, you deprive yourself of all of that intelligence because you assume that they are no longer here, first of all, or that they are not interested in what you are about. And we want you to know all of that consciousness is infinitely interested in what you are about. You just have to focus in a way that allows that energy to flow through you. You're not regurgitators, you're creators. You hear us say as we begin these gatherings, this is co-creating at its best. It is co-creation at its best because no consciousness ever disappears. Consciousness continues. The question is, me, out here, human, in my human form, on the leading edge, am I perceiving life in a way that allows all of this infinite intelligence that is amassed to benefit me in this moment in time as I direct it toward this specific subject, which is my interest? Or am I depriving myself of it because I've categorized all that as something else and categorized me as something else, so I'm just banging around in the physical, just sort of out there, out of the vortex, comparing myself with a whole bunch of other people that are out of the vortex and calling this life on planet Earth?
One more.
Are you getting this? Are you understanding the power of who you are and what's available to you? What's it all for? Why go to all of this trouble? If I was source energy and I understood all of this before, tell me again, why would I come into this experience? We won't yell. Esther translates our enthusiasm in volume. Because this is the leading edge, and it's where we all want to be. It's where the new ideas are bursting forth. It's where the new energy is flowing. It's where it's all happening. You are out here on the leading edge, and the happier you are, the more you are allowing all that we are to flow with you in this leading edge moment. So does that make it go better? Yeah, but that's not the point. It's for the revelry. It's for the joy. It's for the feeling of expansion. It's for the feeling in the moment. Everything that every one of you want, no matter what it is. A material object, a relationship, a pile of money, a circumstance, an event, an empire, everything that you want, no matter what it is. You want it for one reason only, and that is you think you will feel better in the having of it. And if we can convince you that you can find the feel better part even before it fills in manifested form, then you've got it all figured out. If you can turn it to the place where you can feel it first, then you've got what you were going for anyway, but the grid has to fill in with the details. But if the grid filling in with the details is the reason that you're doing, then it's all out of whack and it won't work. Isn't it interesting? We have to convince you that the manifestation doesn't matter before the manifestation can happen. I don't want the manifestation. Oh yeah, I do. I really do. I really do. I really do. I don't want a virtual lover. I don't want a virtual pile of money. I want the real thing. But what you want is the feeling of it. You want the feeling of it. And when you find the feeling of it, the grid will fill in with the specifics of it. But if the specifics of it are so important that you're all bent out of shape because the specifics of it haven't filled in yet, then you don't find the vibrational feeling place of it, and then the grid doesn't fill in. Isn't that interesting? You've got to find the feeling of it, and when you find the feeling of it, then as our friend said earlier, then it's just the next logical step, and it doesn't matter that much. So where do you find your joy in all of this? Abraham, are you saying that first I have to figure out that I want it, and then I have to get over not feeling bad that I don't have it before I can have it, but then by the time I get over not feeling bad about not having it, and I have it, then it's no big deal. Is that what you said? Pretty much. That is what we said. And that causes your brain to twist into a knot because it's sort of sideways of the way that you've been looking at it. But consider this. What if you intended to come and explore the buffet and that it was all right even though you liked some of it more than others of it? What if that was the plan all along? What if you came to use the power of your ability to focus to define what you specifically want because you understood that once you line up with that it would flow to you? What if you knew that the source within you would hold the pure positive part of everything that you ask for and send you a steady stream so that you would always know the path of least resistance toward the fullness of what you want? And what if what you want is joyful moment, joyful moment, joyful moment, joyful moment, joyful moment? What if you came to go from a moment of interest to a moment of love, to a moment of joy, to a moment of fascination, to a moment of passion? What if the whole reason that any of this exists is just for these joyful moments of divine intertwining with one another, for the purpose of allowing that which is source and that which is love to flow radiantly through everything that exists? What if that is really what it is all about? And what if you were born with such a magnificent guidance system that you can tell in the nanosecond that you're beginning to deviate from it? What if you have such supreme guidance within you because you've been at this for a long time, because you are a powerful, powerful creator? What if in the moment that you feel a little bit of negative emotion, you could say, I can feel that guidance. I can feel that I'm starting to deviate from what life has caused me to know that I want. Now, how is it that I can come back into the alignment, to the full alignment, to the full, in this present moment, joy that I am all about? So many people stand in the absence of something wanted, using the absence of that something wanted to deprive themselves of the alignment which is necessary for them to have what they want. Isn't it just the most fascinating thing? Don't you find it fascinating that once you don't care if it manifests, and you're all excited about aligning with the essence of it, that then the grid must fill in with the details of it. And that's why you came. Because nothing is more delicious than the molding of this clay. Nothing is more delicious than to define what you want from your important perspective. Nothing is more important than to launch a rocket that you're not completely up to speed with, and then to get up to speed with it because you are exercising the power of your own ability to focus with source energy, encouraging you every step of the way and adding more emphasis and more energy. Nothing feels better than coming into alignment, you see. So would you ever be able to experience the deliciousness of coming into alignment if you never got out of alignment? Would you ever be able to experience the true deliciousness of a fabulous meal if you'd never been a little hungry? Isn't the contrast part of what sharpens your, not only your desire for things, but your appreciation of them, you see? So it's just this constant platform of never-ending opportunities to appreciate this moment, this person, this interest, this idea, this piece of art, this planet, this idea, this, more. It is the mantra of the universe, you see. As your life causes you to ask for more, that rocket of desire goes into this vibrational vortex. And the larger part of you becomes the full recipient of what you've asked for. But it's a vibrational version, and you might say, that vibrational version is not what I'm looking for, because that vibrational version is not fleshed out. It's not manifested. I can't yet see it or hear it or smell it or taste it or touch it. It's not yet enough. But we want you to understand that if you can feel the vibrational version, your feeling of problem will go away. And when your feeling of problem is no longer pulsing within you, and you are vibrationally equal to what you put into your vortex, now the content of your vortex, this magnificent vibrational vortex, will begin to fill, it will flood into your actualized, manifested reality. At first, as the flow begins, or better said, as you begin to allow the flow because you found a frequency that matches it, ideas flood into your mind. You get really good ideas about things to do, places to go, people to see. All kinds of ideas flood into your experience. You also begin to receive an emotional upliftment because you have achieved vibrational alignment with what's going on in your vortex. Now you're offering no resistance. And in the absence of resistance, you feel wonderful. You're clear-minded. You're euphoric. You feel passion. You feel eagerness. Your appreciation comes easily. You are loved just walking around all over the place, you see. So the vortex, as it floods into your grid, which is what we're calling your point of attraction, and the reason we're calling it a grid is because you create it before it fills in, sort of like building a house. You put the framework up long before you bring the sheetrock for the walls or the rocks or bricks for the exterior. In other words, long before you bring the pretty things into your house, there is a grid. So long before the manifestation begins to reveal itself in all of its explicit details, there is a vibrational grid that is necessary. You must build the structure of beautiful things before beautiful things can fill in. And if you're grouchy or ornery or fearful or sad, if your vibration is one that is different from what you seek, then your grid is still filling in, but it's not filling in from the vortex where all things that you want are. It fills in from the soup that surrounds you. It fills in with people who are not doing a good job. It fills in with things that you do not want. It fills in with traffic congestion. It fills in with confusion in your own mind. It fills in with the things that make you want to complain and criticize. And that's not a bad thing, because in knowing what you don't want, you know more.